All right, let's wrap this thing up. Ulysses S. Grant, failure in real life, attrition, killing Southern soldiers that could not be replaced. It also means that he will suffer heavy casualties himself. Take a look at the 9-month siege, 50,000 men in 30 days. Grant knew he could replace his soldiers where Lee just could not. Critics called him a butcher. We're back to Admiral Farragut. We talked about him and New Orleans. In this case, he's going to take one of the last Confederate-controlled ports, Mobile Bay. He will tie himself to the mast so he can continue to lead his armada. Most famous quote, "Damn the torpedoes, full speed ahead." Election 1864. Lincoln sees McClellan again, this time as the Democratic candidate for president. Abraham Lincoln reads mean tweets.
Lincoln, you sure are a great pres. JK, you stink. You bearded jerk.
The Democrats wanted out of the war, the cost, the death, did not feel that fighting for slavery was worth it. So they picked Andrew Johnson as Lincoln's new vice president, resented the planter class, and was also incredibly racist, even more racist than most of the people at that time. He felt if he didn't have a couple victories under the belt, that it would lead to his loss in the election. Sherman sacked Atlanta, which we'll get to in a minute. Farragut, we just did him. The absentee ballots, the Union Army was what put him over the top. But if you look at the Electoral College map, those blue people don't get a vote. He pretty much runs away with the electoral vote. Much, much closer popular vote. Looks like Jeff Davis is not happy to see him around for another 4 years. General Sherman, that's him in the middle of the picture with his arms crossed. He's going to do total war. There are no civilians. If you are on the other side, you are fair game. We will destroy goods. We will destroy property. There's the march from Atlanta to the coast, and then he will head up from Tennessee to Atlanta to Savannah, destroying everything in their path. 60-mile wide swath, crops, wells, livestock, railroads. Sherman's neckties looked a little something like this. As you can see, both artistic depictions and actual pictures of the destruction. His news to Lincoln, my Christmas gift is Savannah. Obviously, he's not going to be a very popular figure in the South to this day. Back to the Anaconda Plan. We are blockade continuing, now have control of the Mississippi. Last step is to take Richmond. It will fall. Jefferson Davis will burn the Capitol before he turns it over. Meeting at Appomattox Courthouse. Lee knew he had to surrender. His troops were not in favor of it, but there was no chance that they could win. He said it would only kill them all if he continued to fight. That is not Appomattox Courthouse. It was Palm Sunday, and the courthouse was closed. So instead, they met at this guy's house. That's Wilmer McLean. That is a reconstruction of his house. What's interesting about him is his first farm was at Manassas, which, if you remember, is the other name for the battles of Bull Run. He had a farmstead there at Manassas where the battle took place. A shell came down the chimney and destroyed his kitchen, so he wanted to move somewhere where he felt he could stay out of the war. Here's his parlor where Lee and Grant signed the treaty. So Mr. McLean was known to say, "The war started in my kitchen and ended in my parlor." Last mean tweet.
This is Lincoln in 1860. This is in 1865. The guy aged worse than Lindsay Lohan. I don't even know who she is, but I have the feeling it's a bad thing.
The presidency in general will age you. The Civil War even more. Here's our final toll. You can see the total strength of the Army and the casualties that they faced, both wounded and dead. And then when we compare it to casualties in other wars, there really is no comparison. And the fact that this war took place on American soil magnified the problems for Americans.